better get your sports straight. You better get your sports straight. Look it up. Google it, fool. Google it.
Welcome back to a new video. We are out here today.
Don't hate the player, hate the game. Yo, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Today we are starting in David's shitbox number 2. If you remember a long time ago, we had David's shitbox number 1, and that was the big blue turd. But today we have that was in a 1993 or 94, 95, early 90s Subaru Impreza station wagon. Could be the coolest car ever in the world, but it's not. What are we doing? We're waiting for the windows to defrost. Thing gets really good gas mileage. I tell you what, I've driven this thing around for the longest time. What was it? Yesterday I took it on a cruise to the waterfront and back. And then we went on the freeway and we almost died. I think that my dad called me and I told him about the brakes, because you have to put the brake all the way down to the floor of the car. Basically almost all the way down. You hear that? Listen to this noise. That's the brakes, okay? And when you go over 60 miles an hour in this thing, because this thing does get down if it was taken care of, and it would sound really nice if it was taken care of. But the thing is, it leaks brake fluid. So that's why the brakes go all the way down to the ground. What else? It leaks oil. It has the left back wheel bearing is out. This is the full-on shitbox number 2. So we're gonna start the day off. We're gonna go get some coffee. I went to my normal coffee stand. Didn't even recognize or realize that I was in a totally different car. I can't wait till I get my Honda back. Do you hear that noise? That whistling, whirling noise, or that sounds like wind coming in the car when it's really not the wind. It's the wheel bearing. And this thing's supposed to have exhaust on it. We're doing something totally illegal here, but that's what we do. This car is supposed to have exhaust on it. You can tell it has exhaust on it, but I think there's a leak somewhere, because it shouldn't sound. You hear the engine? Shouldn't sound like that. It should be sturdy. I've owned 2 Subarus in my life, both Legacies. I owned a Legacy sedan and a Legacy. No, this ain't a 1993, because I owned a 93 Legacy station wagon. That shit was clean, because I took care of it until something was wrong with the motor, and I got rid of it and got my Honda Element SC, the first. This thing is wildly crazy to drive. Fast and forth this car multiple times. That's my dad's. But the other day he's, oh yeah, when it's yours. Yeah, when it's yours. But do I really want it? That's the question. Because I'd have to rip the top of the motor off, change the head gasket. That's okay, but it's just going to take time out of what I'm doing. Put new brakes on it and a new wheel bearing. And I want to lower it and put a real exhaust on it. Like a real, not this one that you got at Midas. Your Midas exhaust is not cutting it no more, you know? I'm gonna get one that's made for this car. Not a stock one, but exhaust, aftermarket exhaust that's made for a Subaru Impreza, because this motor is strong. It gets down. The car is just dangerous because it handles like an old grandma that's in a wheelchair. Slower than a slug. I swear. I almost hit a bum walking across well, he shouldn't be walking across that. River Road is basically like a freeway, highway. You go 50 miles an hour down it. I almost ran into him. I try to step on my brakes. The brakes go all the way down the floor. You hear him? shouldn't make that noise. Yesterday when I was talking about when I almost died on the freeway, I was getting up in this thing. This thing goes super quick. At least I would no, it could get up to 120 like it says, but I was going at least 75, just going, you know, with the flow. And then the brakes in my Honda, I have all brand new brakes, everything. Boom. I could just tap on my brakes and my car stops. This one here, you have to slam on it and the brakes have to go all the way down to the floor. Almost crashed into everything locked up and I skirted to a stop and I was like, fucking, I had to swerve out the way. Damn, death trap. There's a lot of play in the steering wheel, so if I ever did get this car and made it into something like I did with the Civic, I'd have to get all new lower control arms, sway bars, upper strut bars. I would take the back seats out. I would take the back seats out and just make it a straight, whatever they, you know. I would, here's what I would do. Shout out to Tommy. But I make this car super ill looking, put exhaust on it. I don't even know if I would take the back seats out. I would tint all the windows though. I cannot handle this fishbowl glass, you know, look at me all the time. I can't handle it. At least my windows are tinted and I sit higher than this car. So if I had this car, I would lower it, obviously. I'd keep it on the steelies. I'd fix the stuff in it. And then I would keep the back seats in. I wouldn't try to race it. I would just I'd put an intake on it, maybe a turbo, because this is basically the Impreza that's not turboed. Has the same motor as the turboed one. So the turbo would bolt right onto this. We should pop the hood and look at it together. That's what we should do. What else should we do? I would keep the seats. I maybe put a 10 in here and get a new stereo, because the stereo is from my high school days from the early 2000s. Check this out. So let's pop the hood and see what's underneath there. It's the bug-eyed one. That's why it's so cool. It's the bug-eyed one with the fog lights. This is right before they changed the body stock. There we go. You have to lift up on it. We should I wouldn't even know where to start, because I forgot Subaru engines are in kind of like an airplane motor. Brake fluid. Fucking lower than your mom's. Lower than where she's supposed. That's why there's no brake fluid. Even though that it leaks brake fluid. Come on, man. You should at least put some in here. Look. None. But check out the cool intake, dude. The coolest intake system you ever seen, man. I'm missing my thing. Yeah, that's what it needs. It needs a filter on there. It could even be the aftermarket one that you get from AutoZone or O'Reilly's or whatever, but at least put something on there, man. That's why it's so hard to stop. No brake fluid, no brakes. Aftermarket intake from a crackhead. It looks like the last time that the intake, the filter itself was changed was 5/7/2015. That's probably when the last time this thing had an oil change. This looks like this car was made in Japan. This is the Japan one. We might have to go look at the trim numbers inside the thing, but I swear everything on here on the thing on the top right here, and where it tells you the trim, and it says Fuji Heavy Industries. It's all in Japanese with the VIN number and all this stuff. So if it was made in Japan, I would fix it. That's just me, because this is ill if it was made in Japan. It wouldn't say Tokyo, Japan on here if this wasn't yeah, the car is Japanese, but some Hondas, you get the Hondas that are made in Japan. Sometimes you can get the Wolfsburg's editions of Volkswagens that were made in Germany. And I think this one was made in Japan. When's the last time you did an oil change? It's as black as your lungs. The oil is as black as your lungs. It needs an oil change badly. Badly. Yeah. Let's go check the trim out, the numbers. They usually tell you on the inside of the door. JC Wagon. Yeah, I think this is the Japanese version. Like it was manufactured in Japan. Yeah, I would take this car. I would take it, put brakes on it, fluid. I probably don't even need brakes. It probably just needs fluid. It probably doesn't leak fluid. It probably just needs it. I should go get some. I don't think it leaks fluid. I think it just needs brake fluid. If you just did the brake fluid and see if it works. Yeah, it needs an oil change. That's why it stinks. Yeah, it might be leaking oil somewhere, but you have to find the leak. And you say it might. Yeah, I would take it. Yeah, it has its problems. But if this is the Japanese model, I'm taking this one. You just got. Oh, there's the intake manifold right there. Oh yeah, you could see the leak right there. I found it. You see that right there? It shouldn't be all oily like that right there. Because it's not all oily like that on that side. The most it would, yeah, you could change the gaskets. The most difficult part is taking everything off the top and then taking this off. This is insane. Don't hate the player, hate the game. I'll do some investigations. Whoa. Alright, so we're gonna move on and actually move on with the day and do what we're supposed to be doing. So enough of the tour of the Impreza.